Hello, my darlings. My name is Victoria, and this is Veritas Tarot. Aries, I'm going to do your spring reading for you. Before I start, I just wanted to say thank you for your patience whilst I have been unwell with COVID, but I am now back and I'm looking forward to doing this reading for you. And thank you to all of you who sent me such lovely messages whilst I was not feeling very well. I am very, very grateful, my darlings. I'm going to be using my Witch's Wisdom tarot, but just the major arcana of it. And we're going to be looking at how you're feeling right now, how you're most feeling about yourself right now, how you, oh, there's my little puppy Nut trying to jump on the sofa, what you're most wishing for at this time, Spirit's advice for you. And if you were to, if this advice is in the right time for you and you receive this advice, what the likely outcome would be. Remember, when you are resonating with a reading, it is not that you're learning something new. You're simply remembering what you already know within you. We are each our own gurus, and my messages from Spirit are put out there with the trust that Spirit will guide those that need to see these messages at exactly the right time for them. And if this reading isn't for you, my darling, it simply means it wasn't for you at this time. There'll always be a reading out there for you at exactly the right time as guided by Spirit. I also have got with me my Spirit Song Tarot, my Light Seers, and my Sun and Moon. So I will use those as a clarifier for each question that I'm going to ask. So this is for Aries. For those that most need to hear these messages, thank you, Spirit. Let's see what one wants to come out. Thank you, Spirit. One more, please, darlings. Thank you very much. Thank you. So we've got the Sun card. A lovely start for you here. What am I drawn to first? I'm drawn to the little necklace with the little star here right over the heart. I feel this is a time of real healing for you, something that's very much heartfelt within you, something that has caused you heart pain before, heartache before. The Sun talks about it's not healing that's done by others to help us or for us, it's the healing that's done within us. The Sun helps things to grow in the dark, the seeds of growth that happen. And it's a very necessary thing that we appreciate, that true healing is done within ourselves. It's done for us, by us, only us. And it's our responsibility as well to heal ourselves. There are little butterflies in this card as well. And that talks about the transformation that you are going through at this time. Spirit is asking you to accept, forgive, and love yourself. Accept, forgive, and love others. Acceptance of where you are, what has happened, is one of the biggest ways you can help to release a lot of attached emotions and energy to something or to some other person. And when you if you it's like to accept it, don't resist it. It's to exist, don't resist. It's something that Spirit gave to me just earlier today. Exist, don't resist. So it's about acting, it's about radical acceptance. It's about saying, I am where I am for a reason. This is where my soul wishes for me to be for a reason. I may not completely understand it, but I accept it. I accept that this is happening for me. This is happening to help me grow, to evolve, to release, to relax, to receive, to be more at peace with who I am, where I am. And one of the kind of biggest ways, I suppose, of explaining enlightenment, to remind you of enlightenment, is the acceptance that where you are right now is exactly where you should be. There isn't no one else you should be. So that's about the forgiveness of yourself, saying, oh, I wish I'd done that, and if I was more like this. No, it's the acceptance of exactly who you are right now. There's nowhere you should be. There's nobody else you should be right now. This is about remembering, learning from the lessons that you have been taught through this experience or experiences that you've gone through. And through that sort of radical acceptance of where you are right now, healing and peace will follow, my darling. I've talked recently quite a bit about how we all, as humans, have radical acceptance of Mother Nature. We don't complain about the seasons. We might complain if the winter goes on a little bit too long, but we don't complain about the seasons. We don't say, oh my, goodness, these plants should grow now. I want them to grow now. We just accept. We have radical acceptance that there are seasons, and plants grow exactly how they're meant to in nature's timing. But we're of that same source energy, and yet we don't have that radical acceptance of ourselves. So I want you to think and observe about that after this reading, about bringing that same analogy into your life and looking to have radical acceptance for where you are. So let's have a look now at what Spirit wants to say. My eyes are guided towards the Spirit Song Tarot. Thank you, Spirit. And there is a vulnerability in accepting responsibility for ourselves. There is a vulnerability in being open to maybe looking at things in a different way, a different perspective. So Queen of Swords. Queen of Swords, the bat who has the ability to see through the darkness. This is what Spirit's saying. You are receiving insights at this time, great insights, and you may not be trusting what you are thinking or feeling, or those random thoughts that come to you. They're insights, my darling. When they come in and you know that this is not something that you've been repetitively thinking, this is not the mind, this is something else, this is a knowing, and that Spirit talking to you. And Spirit is asking you to trust that, because once you start to trust, you see within us, within all of us, is the essence of all that is, the essence of whether you call it God, the universe, whatever you may call it. But that essence is within us, within all of us, within Mother Nature. And when we understand that we can tap into that essence simply by having the willingness to wish to do so and to listen, then things change. They change for us. And we've been conditioned for so long not to trust sometimes our what we might call imagination. But imagination is original thought, and original thought is not repetitive thought, and original thought is the essence within us. When we get excited about something, when we look to desire to do something, we have a joy about something that really talks to us. That is our creative expression, and that is source energy talking to us. That's our soul talking to us. So it's a reminder with the Queen of Swords here. The Queen of Swords is also somebody who, just like the bat, isn't afraid of the darkness, is becoming comfortable in the darkness. You are receiving a lot of messages at this time as well. And the Queen of Swords is somebody who is creating very healthy boundaries for themselves. They are not rushing after something now so much. They are allowing themselves to be much more rather than do. And they are receiving. The Queen of Swords is somebody who sits in her throne, on her throne, let's call it, in her court, and receives. And she receives those that are of the same ilk, the same energy as her, those that can communicate clearly like the Queen of Swords can. Remember, swords is an air symbol. It's about communication. It's about insight. It's about clarity. It's about speaking your truth. And I feel that this is something that you are becoming much, much, much more aware of. This is how you're feeling at the moment, and this is wonderful. So let's have a look now about what you're most wishing. Thank you, Spirit. And I think you've said, enough's enough. Whatever's happened, you're saying enough's enough now. That's it. And something has flipped, changed inside of you. So shaman number 13. So this is what you're most wishing for. This is this to delve deeper, to understand more about yourselves, to understand more about others. And you know what? When we understand, when we truly look at things without any judgment, when we truly look at things with almost out any knowing about it, but just observing it, keenly observing it, but actually almost taking saying, I don't have a point of view on this, making a point of saying, I'm not going to have a point of view on this. I'm just going to observe. Because it is sometimes when we think something, and we think very clearly about something, and we think, no, that's how it is, we don't allow the truth to come in. And I feel that is what you're really wanting to understand, more sides of yourself, both your dark and light. And that primarily, and within that space of understanding your dark and light, you're also understanding others, what others, just like what your triggers are, what other triggers for other people are as well. There is a great wisdom in the appreciation that answers will come to you, Spirit is saying, when you are ready for those answers at exactly the right time for you. So please don't be frustrated if you don't understand it all yet. You're not meant to, because there is a beautiful process. There's a beautiful sort of sifting, like sand, and changing within you, where various little elements of truth are coming in. And just like the right timing on a cake, the right ingredients, all of that has to be perfect in order for the cake to rise and cook just how it's meant to. So there are things you're not meant to know now, and there are things that you are meant to know now. Whatever it is that you're looking to do to help yourself at this time, Spirit is saying, do it. So this is all about sort of healing, shamanic healing, sound baths, reading the thing that you wanted to read, going to see somebody who, you know, can provide Reiki or counseling or whatever it is, healing, energy healing, whatever it is, a hypnotherapist, whatever that is in your mind, Spirit is saying to do it, because it's going to help you. And just like you receiving your own insights, Spirit, God, universe will send you those that you need at exactly the right time for you. So if you have received a recommendation for somebody, pick up the phone, give them the call, set the event in motion. That is you moving forward. That is you putting that step forward. It is you pulling yourself away from the past and moving forward and evolving. So self-love, do that next step for yourself now. If you're sort of pausing at this time, let's see what else. And it's, if you are meditating, Spirit is saying keep doing it. If you're not meditating, do that. I call it sitting in stillness, because when we allow ourselves to sit, first of all, we're allowing ourselves to receive. We're not in that fight or flight mode. And so we are embracing, we are willing, we are creating the space to allow ourselves to receive whatever it is we're meant to receive at that time. And you can do that when you meditate. Simply say, thank you for whatever it is I'm meant to receive at this time, my darlings. Thank you. And it doesn't matter if you don't feel like you have received, but you have. On a deep soul level, you have. And it's important that you try and do that on a regular basis, daily, because it is going to help shift you. And it's time for you to listen in that silence. Please don't worry about your thoughts when you meditate. Observe them, see where they're going, but don't worry about them. Just focus on the sounds around you, whether you're listening to music or just the sounds around you, and focus on your breathing. I know everybody says that, but what it does, it brings you into the present moment. And it's when you're in that present moment that the beautiful thing happens, because you're not resisting anymore. You're accepting your being. And then nothing has, in that moment, nothing has so much power over you anymore. You are existing, you're not resisting. And when you're observing your thoughts, who is that person that's observing? It's not the thought, it's not the feeling. It is the unwatched watcher. It is the silent observer, the unobserved observer. That is the essence of you. That is your soul. That is your universe. That's what you are being asked to step into. Start small if you're not doing it, 10, 20 minutes. Thank you, Spirit. And they're now giving me this, the Four of Swords, sanctuary and rest. So this is to confirm about this sort of healing that you're doing at this time. This is for this card. And the Four of Swords here is, if you have been somebody that has been very busy in the past and always doing things, but suddenly you're being drawn to spend time on your own, you're being drawn to be in solitude, you're being drawn, you need to rest more, so I'm so sorry about my little dog is about to bark, bear with me. I'm sorry about that. So if you've been drawn to doing this, please listen to those feelings that are asking you to do that. Don't feel the need to appease another by saying, yes, of course I'll come out, even if you don't feel like doing it. This is very important this time, that you listen and respect your feelings, my darling, because this is where you're meant to be, and being alone and learning to love to be alone and learning to enjoy your company, to learning to enjoy being in solitude is an opportunity. It's an opportunity. It's a gift you're giving yourself, because sometimes we can get wrapped up in other people's energies, other people's thoughts from their perceptions of life, and it muddies the waters for us. It doesn't allow that insight, that clarity, those knowing thoughts, those original thoughts, those thoughts from the essence of us to come in. And this is why it's really important that you really appreciate the value of sanctuary and rest. And here is the card again, and the bear represents this. And I feel that you may be emotionally exhausted right now too. And again, it doesn't matter if you're not a person that used to maybe take a nap in the afternoon, but you feel a bit guilty about doing it. Do not feel guilty about it. Do you know, sometimes naps are the most amazing thing. They're like a recharge of a battery. So where you were feeling, say, particularly awful about something, and then you go and take a nap, you wake up, you feel better, you feel that little bit lighter and a little bit more refreshed. So that is why this is important. It's important for you as well to reflect, and to reflect without what might have been previous, well, this is what's happened and this is what's happened, and of course it's this is that, this is this, to reflect without any form of judgment, to reflect with just a beingness, a sort of bliss point above it, and just say thank you, I know nothing, I am nothing in this time, and I'm not resisting, I'm accepting, I'm existing. Thank you for the insight. And it's an extraordinary thing that happens, because you start to have a more peripheral vision of what is and why it's happening for you. And please continue to distance yourself from people or situations that pull on you, that draw you down at this time. You protect your space, like that Queen of Swords, you protect your space. So now let's have a look at Spirit's advice for you. Thank you, Spirit. And you may have felt that this is, a long time, bears hibernate for a long time, but it is, you continue to do it, my darling, as you feel you need to do it. Thank you, Spirit. Spirit's advice for Aries, that one wanted to come out. No, too many cards. I did see the word signs. It's like the feather had appeared again. So I saw that word signs when I saw feather. So there are a lot of signs you're getting at this moment in time. And please pay attention to them. When you see signs and synchronicities and there are coincidences, it is your soul in a space of being that is creating these for you in order for you to take notice and to trust. So now you've got the star card, and it's number 5, the star. Okay, and number 5 means change. There is change. I'm getting change afoot. There is change happening for you. And this is beautiful, transformative change that's taking you from a stuck energy to a liberated energy, to an energy that has limitless possibilities. And it is only with your willingness and your determined intention to focus forward, to focus in understanding, and to focus on wanting to make a shift and a change in your life that is allowing this change to happen. And you see there the little waterfalls coming in behind you. That talks about the kind of almost like the beginnings of things changing for better for you, abundance. The dragonfly in there represents the letting go, letting go, letting go, letting God, going with the flow, sitting within it. Everything is as it's meant to be. There's a wonderful expression the universe has given me recently that I have learned, I have remembered, called the Wu Wei. And it's rather than doing it our way, trying to get our own way, resisting, it's the Wu Wei. It is acting in accordance with the way that things exist, not forcing anything, not interfering, that lovely existing, not resisting. And that is what Spirit advice for you to continue to do in as many moments as you can. We don't force a lock, we could break it, we jiggle it. So just go along as if you were kind of, you're sort of riding a wave, but the sort of undercurrent of the wave, feel your way around it. Again, this card is all about that and signs and the insights that you're getting. And remember, my darling, that when you sit within your feelings, you and only you have direct perception of those. And there are those that will come to you as God's messengers, where you will receive the message and you will resonate and you understand it is a message for you at the right time. But where you find yourself when you're talking to somebody or people and you're finding yourself resisting, first of all, I want you to look at why you're resisting. Are you not wishing to hear that message, or you are finding yourself defending? And if you're finding yourself defending, then you are not talking the same language. You're at a different energy level, and they have a different perception of your life than you do. And it's why it's very important you learn to trust yourself and what your knowings are and what your feelings are about this. So there was something else Spirit wanted to tell me, and I will come back to it. So yes, it's a lovely sort of analogy story of the farmer. And this is kind of like the Wu Wei, but it's the farmer whose son, the horse, first of all, the horse runs away, their horse runs away, and all the neighboring people come and say, well, that's a shame. And the farmer says, maybe. And then the horse comes back the next day with 5 wild horses. And the neighbors say, well, that's wonderful. And the farmer says, maybe. And then the next day, the son rides one of the wild horses and breaks his leg. And the neighbors say, oh, that's a shame. And the farmer says, maybe. And the next day, the army come to conscript the officers, the soldiers, and the boy can't go because he's broken his leg. And the neighbors say, that's a shame. And the father says, maybe. So it's always about existing, not resisting. It's just acting fluidly. And then you're becoming empowered within a space that you're very protected in, because you're trusting and you're going with the flow. Thank you, Spirit, for more cards about this. You're basically being completely at one with what is happening. So this card wanted to come out for you, and it is the Shadow, which is the Devil card. And again, this is Spirit's advice. So you've got Star and the Devil card here. This is the Devil card talks about shadow work, which is so important, accepting all sides of ourselves, not beating ourselves up about things, in understanding about what makes us tick, what are our triggers. It's then about understanding and appreciating what other people's triggers are as well. It's about understanding that many people are at different levels of pain. They may not recognize it as pain, but it is conditioned responses to things that have gone back maybe generations or to their childhood. And this is the Devil card. This is the shadow work. But it's also about recognizing that we have within those conditioned behaviors attachments to things, and we want to hold on to something. And sometimes we can hold on to something so tightly. She's carrying on. She may or may not. Yes, she is. I'm just going to pause again. I'm sorry about that. So it's about looking at what, when we hold on to things very tightly and we restrict them, we restrict the energy, we're not allowing things to be as they're meant to be. And maybe we, when we're doing that, we're trying to force our will on it. We're trying to have our way. So Spirit is asking you to do this Wu Wei, to, and as much as you can, let go of trying to control whatever is happening here, of letting go of expectations, of accepting that this is how it's meant to be. You're accepting the present moment. And also to do that, it's also about letting go of limited beliefs you may have about yourself. And if there are things that you are wanting to do, to step forward and do them, because it's only when we push ourselves and put ourselves in that non-comfort zone, that repetitive non-comfort zone, that non-repetitive non-comfort zone, that we allow for transformation within ourselves. So that's the Jackal card along with the healing card. So this is beautiful. And darling, whatever stuck energy is there holding you back, even just with the baby steps that you're doing, these big baby steps that you're doing, because we've got, you know, the Sun for healing, and then we've got the Star card for healing, and we've got the Queen of Swords. You've made amazing insights, and let's look at your healing like an onion. You've peeled many layers off, and Spirit is saying continue to do it, because that energy that is stuck within you, that for what is in the past, once you you recognize it as an energy attachment, and which you are doing, my darling, but once you let go of it, big breath, just let go and let God. I'm going to do the woo way, not my way, the woo way. Your will is God's will. Your will is the universe's will. Then what you do is you liberate it, and liberated energy goes somewhere. And if you're focusing your attention on the next few steps, on the unknown, not having any attachments to outcomes, then you are allowing a huge wider expanse of beautiful universal opportunities and changes and shifts to come in for you. You're doing it God's way. You're doing it the natural way. You're doing it as it's meant to be. And so it is with nature. And that liberated energy is so much more powerful. That creative, liberated energy is so much more powerful. And then the laws of the universe are that order is created out of disorder. It comes back to you in beautiful ways. So that is that Jackal card here. And you are, you know, the Jackal represents being the master of shadows. There's Devil card. You are the master of shadows. Let me just turn it over so you can see it. And do you see that Jackal is just sitting and receiving? Self-empowerment on the front of the card, self-empowerment and ambition. Have ambition for yourself. Self-empower yourself at this time by following these steps. Be ambitious, but do it with the liberated energy. Do it with the creative energy. Do it with joy. Do it with excitement. So I know that was a particular message for somebody just now. And then we have the likely outcome for you, my darling. What was that card there? That was the shaman, so I'm going to leave that out. Likely outcome. Thank you for Aries. Strength. Being at one with nature. Look at this. Absolutely stunning. So we've been talking about radical acceptance. Nature is as it should be so. And it is you appreciating this, or everything that you have gathered on your journey, your guides. The elk talks about things that are noble, a cause that is noble. You have the owl there, you have the bear there, the healing. You have again that jackal there, you have the rabbit talking about facing your fears, not running from them. You have the beaver there about sort of making the necessary groundwork that you're doing. This is a stunning card for you, my darling. And the snake about rebirth. She's also standing there covered in ivy. So the ivy represents that commitment, because she's covered herself in it, commitment to yourself, putting yourself first, doing what's right for you. That one wand, that staff with the new shoots of growth that are coming out of that, talks about that creative expression in you, my darling. Whatever you haven't done in the past because of some stuck energy or people or experiences, now is the time to focus. Make it your greatest intention to focus on the unknown, to focus on the opportunities, the limitless possibilities that are out there. Embrace the change that's happening in your life. Embrace the shifts that are happening. Let go of people that may be falling away from your life. Act. This is the strength and the courage, because you feel it within you and you know you're on the right path, to act through that fear of losing, because when you're not losing something, you are releasing something, because it's not meant to be there anymore for you, because we are constantly evolving. Every relationship you've ever had with anybody, whether it be your mother, your child, your brother, your sister, your friends, your partner, it constantly evolves, it constantly changes. And it is us as humans, we have this permanent demand for happiness, but that's not possible. Everything's always evolving and changing. And actually, that permanent demand for happiness causes us unhappiness. But if we exist in the space of the radical acceptance of saying we are existing, not resisting, I am exactly where I'm meant to be, then we are happy, then we are at peace, because then it is, we are, what's the expression, that you know, our reality is not coming from other people or events around us, it's coming from us. We are consciously creating our reality rather than our reality creating our consciousness. Stand strong at this time. Continue to act through your knowing, through your instincts. Continue to do this wu-wei approach. Learn this wu-wei approach, and the more and more and more courage will come to you. Speak from your heart, my darling. Look for the lessons that are there in nature. Very important that the messages are there for you. And if you are feeling that you've got to stand up for something here, then stand up for something here, as long as you speak your truth. And the last message Spirit wants to give to you on this is, when you speak your truth, you're not speaking it for another or others, you're speaking it for yourself. It is not how the message is received that is as important as how you speak it, because in the speaking of it from the right place, from the reflection place, the observant place, the I am not judging place, if you speak it from that place, then you will receive it. If another or others are meant to receive your message, they will. If they're meant to receive a seed of it, they will. If they're not going to. Sorry, my puppy is trying to get my attention. So it is for yourself. And as you speak it, you receive it, you shift, you change, you evolve, my darling. So I think this is a really, really beautiful reading for you. There is great change for you, but you've been so willing to do the work, and you are so continually willing to do this inner healing, this inner work. There are beautiful changes happening for you. And just remember, everything is as natural as nature. It is only us as humans that have, through generational conditioning, set us apart from nature. Everything is as natural as nature. You're going through a cycle right now, and everything is constantly evolving. Everything is constantly changing, and you are doing the groundwork. Isn't that rather lovely, with the sound, the sun, and then you've got this groundwork. Those seeds of growth happening within you are going to blossom very, very soon for you, my darling. Anyway, I hope that helped those this reading resonated. I look forward to reading for you again within the next 2 weeks. I look to do every star sign every 2 week, within every 2 week period. But in the meantime, take care and so much love. Bye-bye.